Patuloy ang paghaharap natin sa mga hamon ng bayan at dito sa agenda, kami ay titindig para lamang sa katotohanan at kapakanan o interes ng ating bayan.
Corruption was monopolized. It was monopolized by the Marcos crony capitalists.
At higit sa lahat, tinatayuan namin ang katotohanan na mula sa utos ng Diyos.
God is with us sa battle ring.
Sinusuri po natin ang programa at katapatan sa bayan ng mga opisyal.
You were elected by the people. You were the choice of the people in whatever position you have right now, and you're supposed to represent them and what is good for the country.
At gayon din ang pamamaraan, tapat, matapang na paglilingkod ng mga lider ng iba't ibang sektor ng lipunan.
Yan ang komisyon. Hindi naman po yan bago. Hindi rin po yan yung mga insidente na ngayon lamang sumusulpot.
Wala pong lugar dito ang fake news o disinformation na tunay na banta sa katotohanan ng ating karanasan bilang mga Pilipino.
We must all continue to stay strong, healthy, safe, and truly free.
Samahan niyo po kami sa patuloy naming pagsulong sa katotohanan ng pag-ibig, pangangalaga sa ating bayan, at sa kinabukasan ng bawat Pilipino. Dito lamang sa agenda. Isang kasaysayang gumuguhit sa kasalukuyan. Impeachment laban sa pangalawang Pangulo na si Sara Duterte. Kinwestiyon, kinikwestiyon, at ngayon, ibinasura. Sa gitna ng mga akusasyon ng katiwalian at karahasang pampolitika, nananaig ang desisyong legal. Walang paglilitis, hindi pa ngayon. Ngunit sa mata ng publiko, hindi pa tapos ang usapin. Saan patungo ang isyong ito? Ano ang epekto sa tiwala ng bayan sa mga institusyon? Ngayon sa The Agenda, sisirain ang katahimikan at bubuksan ang talakayan.
What happens if there is an archiving of a case? Is there still accountability of public officials when a case is either dismissed, suspended, or archived as we have in our midst? In today's episode, we will tackle that, and ako po ang inyong host and moderator, Attorney Fred Mison, dito lang po sa The Agenda at Club Filipino, brought to you by EFG Consulting together with Impact Publishing. For today, we are privileged to have resource persons to help us understand what will really happen now, given this impasse, so to speak, of the ongoing process of trying to hold a person accountable. To my left, we have Professor Francis Kiko Aquino D. He is a political analyst, a co-convener of Tindig Pilipinas, and executive director of the Ninoy and Cory Aquino Foundation, a guest lecturer in political science at UP Diliman. Magandang umaga sa iyo, sir.
Magandang umaga po, attorney. Tsaka siguro po, bagamat Poli-sci naman po talaga yung disiplina ko po. Ang tinuturo ko po doon actually ay statistics po. So yung pinaka-expertise na masasabi ko ngayon ay 20 is greater than 4 or 19 is greater than 4. Therefore, tali yung boto. Pero sa ibang mga usapin ay baka may pagka-layman din naman po ang lapit ko dito.
But Kiko, based on how I see you now, parang you belong to that millennial generation, not millennia generation. Tama ba yon?
Yes po, actually. Medyo gitnang millennial po ako.
And I think that's a welcome perspective for our episode today. You also represent what, people in your generation think and see, what's really happening.
Okay. Parang medyo Gen Z na po yung nagiging mas dominant sa youth po. Pero kahit paano, sige po, we can try to provide that.
And to my right, the Honorable Lorenzo Erintañada III. He was the former Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, acting President of the Liberal Party of the Philippines, and a veteran human rights and labor rights advocate. He is very strong when it comes to press freedom, electoral integrity, and transitional justice. Welcome again to our show, Honorable Tañada, sir.
Good morning, Fred, at sa lahat ng nanonood ng agenda. Nung sinabi mo nga millennial na may linya marami na tayong
Yun
linya.
na nga eh. Tayo.
We belong to the boomer generation, pero end part.
Ako, tangent ako dun sa Gen X pa ako.
Kaya-
Pero yung end part talaga,
End part.
border. Okay, good. But so it's a good representation, no?
Yes.
So I know, and I think a lot of our viewers already understand that what has happened in recent days, weeks, and a lot of lawyers and even lay people have expressed their opinions. No, of course we know that ultimately it's the opinion of the Supreme Court which has to be respected and stand. Pero Kong Erin, unahin na kita. Ano bang ibig sabihin pag in-archive ang kaso?
Well, pag sinasabi in archive, parang nilagay lang sa vault na pwedeng ilabas kung kinakailangan. Kung merong mangyari na makakaapekto sa kaso na nilagay sa vault o nilagay sa library, pwede nilang ilabas uli. Yun yung pagkakaintindi ko sa terminong archive. Pero ang question, does the Senate have the power to archive an article of impeachment?
Given that question, sir, in your recollection, has there been ever a time that the Senate in our history or maybe in other countries na merong na-archive na impeachment?
Well, ang thinking kasi, the Senate has two functions. Its legislative function and its function holding high officials accountable. So that's the impeachment court. So the question here has been always raised, sino bang may karapatan na pag-usapan ang usapin ng articles of impeachment? And dito, tingin ko, logical naman, dahil hiniwalay nga yung Article 11, no, functions ng Senado sa legislative function niya. So, klaro, dapat ang impeachment court. Now, the question here would be, then if that is the case, then it should have been the impeachment court that should have archived the case, not the Senate exercising its legislative function.
So, lumalabas kasi, although there are 24 members of the Senate, they have two different roles. One is
Yes.
acting as a Senate,
Yes.
one is acting as the impeachment court.
Yes.
When the archiving happened, are you saying, Kong Erin, na they were sitting as a Senate?
They were sitting as a Senate, functioning as a legislative body.
I see. Hindi ba yung dahil kasi sinasabi ninyo they were not wearing the proper robes at that time? Or ano ba yung technicality involved?
I think the technicality there is basically they have to convene as a impeachment court to tackle any matter with regard to the impeachment. So merong logic yung argument ni Sen. Kiko Pangilinan and Minority Leader Soto na dapat tayo muna, hindi tayo yung body na kailangan magdesisyon dito. No?
I see. Kiko, okay. Of course, I know na you can understand 19-4 tsaka 1 abstain, no? Pero base dun sa pag-aaral mo, dun sa nangyari dun sa Senado, na nabanggit na nga ni Kong Erin some of the reasons why other people or other senators voted that way, ano sa tingin mo ang dapat mangyari now when it comes to the suggestion of, let's have a people's initiative? Pwede ba yung mangyari?
Siguro pa yung People's Initiative, at least yung term na yun, ina-associate ko po dun sa charter change po. No? So definitely, hindi yun po yung recommendation. Pero I guess, may mga finloat sa mga grupo na nag-advocate ng pananagutan para sa vice presidente, yung mga nagtulak ng impeachment dahil nga mukhang nabigo po tayo sa iba't ibang mga institusyon, yung Senado, pilit nilang hindi inintindi yung ibig sabihin ng forthwith, yung Supreme Court, tila'y mas makapag-komento po kayo siguro bilang mga abogado, pero sa limitado ko pong pagkakaunawa, parang binago nila yung proseso ng impeachment. May mga hakbang doon na nire-require base sa July 25 Supreme Court decision na talagang wala doon dati, no? So, kung bigong-bigo po tayo sa dalawang institusyon na to na talagang nakadesign sa ating 1987 Constitution ng pananagutan, ano na lang yung magagawa natin para makita ng madla kung ano yung ebidensya laban kay VP Sara Duterte? Pwede naman po natin itong i-communicate. Pwedeng ang bihis po nito ay parang isang trial, pero kumbaga information campaign po ito. Ano yung 7 articles or higit pa man, depende sa kung ano man ang gusto po nating ikwento. Pero ano ba talaga yung kaso laban kay VP Sara Duterte? Kasi para sa akin po yung nakakalungkot. Kasama po ako sa isa sa unang impeachment complaint, no? Nag-file po tayo siguro 1 or 2 weeks after lumabas yung video ni VP Sara Duterte na nagse-threaten siya sa mga tao na ayoko rin talaga. Pero hindi katanggap-tanggap kasi yun eh. Kasi, and ako po bilang mahilig sa political science, nanonood po ako ng mga podcast, mga blog ng global politics, hindi lang sa local, di ba? At saka, nagtaka ako, yun yung punto na talagang pinansin yung Pilipinas nung tinreten ng ating vice-presidente yung presidente natin. No? Parang even nung ICC, hindi tayo masyadong pinansin. And when that happened, may agreement or may plurality na sumusuporta sa impeachment. Pero medyo nalabnawan yung kwento dahil manaming ang nangyari, sangkot yung House, sangkot yung Senado, the people, I think, us included, we were correctly distracted from impeachment kasi nga matindi din yung kaso doon sa 2025 budget. Pero sana yun, given this time, sana makabalik po tayo sa pagkwento. Ano pa talaga yung panawagan natin sa impeachment? And it's accountability for corruption, accountability for grave threats.
So, perhaps to paraphrase and summarize, is this the official position of, let's say, Tindig Pilipinas? Na lumalabas na you'll just perhaps go on your route of increasing awareness of the public when it comes to, what really happened based on the facts obtained in so many other hearings in public, instead of, let's say, focusing on this articles of impeachment, taking it out of the Senate? Ganun po ba ang tingin
hindi
niya?
pa po ito official position. No? We're meeting, I think, next week para lang, una, ano ba talagang ibig sabihin ng archive na I think kailangang intindihin. Pangalawa, meron pa rin pong motions for reconsideration sa Supreme Court, and we're hoping na may magaganap na oral arguments, and kung meron po tayong may aambag na papel dyan, we hope to contribute. Pero kung ano man yung magiging resulta ng motions for reconsideration, kailangan po din natin siyang antayin. Kasi nga, bago yung rules para sa impeachment. So, mahirap mag-commit kung ano yung gagawin, kung hindi pa natin alam kung ano yung final na magiging proseso sa impeachment. And then, andun din po na option, yung public trial, kung ano man yung magiging bihis po niya. So, ayun po very historic and unprecedented yung mga nangyari in the last few weeks po. So, we need to regroup and understand ano pa talaga yung mga implications nito before we decide officially, ito yung magiging strategy.
But Kiko, on its face, doon sa decision, 97 pages
Yes.
ng Supreme Court, unanimous, parang how would you characterize it in your simplest words?
Long.
Long.
Pero siguro so ako kasi it's mas mabigat siya sa ina-anticipate po natin eh. Kasi siguro nung nag-file si VP Sara Duterte, bagamat again, please correct me if I'm wrong po, pero ang broad consensus or yung majority agreement sa legal community ay nagsabi na medyo hands-off dapat yung Supreme Court sa kasong ito kasi nga impeachment is the sole power of the legislative body in that sense. Pero yun, pumasok sila. When VP Sara filed, we considered the possibility, baka ma-dismiss, no? Pero ang hindi lang siya na-dismiss, pero yung mismong proseso ng impeachment ay nagbago. Yun yung, kaya siya mahaba eh. Kasi hindi lang yung simpleng, ito, hindi nasunod yung proseso, therefore dismissed. Pero meron mga bagong patakaran na kailangang masunod para sa impeachment. So, it's something na from the left field, kailangan po talaga nating maunawaan. And hopefully sa motion for reconsideration, may mga malinawan, tsaka baka may mga, I believe that these 7 conditions, yung at least ilan doon ay parang hindi siya simpleng common sense eh. May implications yan na pwede po natin pag-usapan. So I hope a lot of these conditions are also reconsidered pag-desisyonan yung motions for reconsideration po.
You mentioned, Kiko, that you were part of that first impeachment complaint. Given na medyo, based on the statements you just said earlier, medyo hindi maganda yung paggawa ng Supreme Court ng desisyon na ito, would your group or even yourself consider filing an impeachment against the Supreme Court?
I've heard people bring that up. Again, tingin ko po yung ganong hakbang, I think it's only appropriate to comment on it kung alam na nga natin ano nga yung bagong rules sa impeachment. No? So kung ano man yung magiging resulta ng motions for reconsideration, kung talagang taga na sa bato yung 7 na bagong conditions na sinulat dun sa Supreme Court decision, then we'll see kung effective na mekanismo ba talaga yung impeachment para makakamit ng pananagutan, hindi lang mula kay VP Sara Duterte, but from any public official, any impeachable official rather, including yung members of the Supreme Court.
So hold muna any idea of any impeachment complaint against members of the Supreme Court.
Ako po, parang the Constitution puts that on the table, di ba? Parang, and again, parang pinahawakan po natin na as citizens, we're given the power, maybe even the duty to file an impeachment complaint when we see something wrong, di ba? So, pero yun nga, since nagkakaroon nga ng pagbabago sa ating pagkakaunawa sa impeachment, I think it's prudent to wait first to see ano ba yung itsura ng process before committing to a step like that.